Okay, so like we're gonna go down the list. So I guess like we're starting off with like Chronos 3, right? Which is now to be totally fair, I didn't play Chronos 3, but I know you did, Musk.
Yeah,
Now, so I'll tell you from what I understand, from what I've witnessed from Chronos 3, and just like generally what people have said about Chronos 3, it was kind of like a stock Mango server that was always trying to get into like the grade tier, but like never quite could. That's kind of the vibe I got from it. Now you tell me what you encountered on that
yeah,
server.
yeah. Honestly, I mean, from what I remember, the server was fine. It felt, I don't know, it didn't. I was used to Light's Hope at the time because if my memory serves me
Yeah.
right, which I believe it does, Chronos 3 released around the time of Northdale because I remember
Yep.
I was playing on Light's Hope at the time. So, and apparently, like in hindsight now, this is something that I will mention. People Chrono's values ended up being more accurate to like WoW Classic than
Yeah.
Light's Hope did.
You think so? Like you would you would
Yeah,
you would
people
actually say that?
yeah people say that for
As
sure.
much shit as Kronos got, you would say in the long run that Kronos was closer to like Blizz like I guess than what Light's Hope was in terms of values or ideology.
That's like the common consensus that I hear. Like just people talking about. They're like, yeah, like I always like I don't have the actual numbers and I'm not gonna fucking look at them because but I like it's like a feel thing, right?
So yeah,
And
it's a feel for it.
yeah, it's a feel thing and people are like
Because Kronos was always considered easier, right? That was
well,
always
yeah,
the
that's the thing. Like, if
yeah
the bosses died faster, and people thought Chronos was like easy mode and wasn't tuned
yeah
properly, but in reality, it was tuned more accurately. So that's something. But like, then again, like just being accurate to WoW Classic or real vanilla doesn't necessarily automatically make it like a more fun server. And I think it spoke for itself that everyone was on Light's Hope, Nostalrius, and even
yeah.
Elysium while they had like the mantle for a while. So I would put Chronos in.
I put it in like stock, right? Stock mangoes. And here's the thing, like so like the vibe I got, I never played on Chronos, but the vibe I always got was always it was just like the runner-up server that no one really gave a fuck about because like Light's Hope was the uh the king, and Elysium was a king as well. Both of them were king compared to Chronos, and Chronos was just like not really anything. But I would put Chronos in stock mangoes from what I heard. I don't know where you would put it. You can decide where it is because you
Hmm.
played on it. So
I mean, we have to like. I guess we're comparing based on like the servers we've played, not so. I would like,
yeah,
and
this is like
I
yeah,
didn't really play a lot, so I only played. I think I only made it to like level 20 or something, but I'd put it in like.
yeah,
I mean, it was just it wasn't a bad server, but it just wasn't like amazing or anything.
wasn't really that memorable. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So I agree with that. So like next up is Elysium. Now this was like the first server I ever played on.
Same.
Elysium.
I started
That's what got me into it.
I
Yeah.
started private servers fucking when was it? January. I think it was January 1st, 2017, and that was when they just re-released after NOS got shut down and they had
Yeah.
gotten the core and they were releasing at least like their Elysium server and that was fresh at the time. But I
Yep.
ended up rolling on the PvE server because the fucking queue times and shit. There was like 15,000 people playing on like Elysium PvP. That was the main server.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck it, we'll play Darrowshire PV, and if we want to play on the other one, we'll roll later. But we ended up just leveling on the PvE server that had, like, I think BWL had just released by the time at that time. If it,
Yeah, I started playing around March on Elysium Darrowshire as well. That's how Musk and I actually met was on the Darrowshire server during ranking. That it was the PvE server. I will say this: the reason I rolled on it was one, like you said, I noticed the Q signs on the other one were like absurd and totally cancerous, and two, I hadn't played WoW for quite a bit since then, and I had never played vanilla before. Like I didn't start playing WoW until like mid TBC. So
same,
like
exact same like situation
yeah,
with me.
So I was like, for the longest time, all I'd ever heard was like how incredibly fucking hard and insane vanilla is, and I was like actually intimidated by it from all these people talking about how unfathomably hard vanilla is. So I'm like, well, fuck, man. Like I'm gonna roll on the PvE server, I guess, and like try and get my toes wet. Turns out vanilla actually isn't hard at all. They were just like
Yeah.
boomers, being like geriatric boomers living the glory days of like 2004. But like yeah, I decided upon a PvE server the first time round, and to be honest with you, I don't regret it because Darrowshire was actually an awesome server. It had an awesome community.
Yeah.
It was super close knit. It was 2,500, 3,000 pop, consistent almost like every day.
Yeah, it was
The
always
people on it were
2000.
awesome. Yeah, yeah, the people on it were awesome, and it was just super close knit. That's what you want in like a
I
vanilla server,
agree.
like
I
close
agree.
knitness and community.
Like at the time I was taking it for granted because like when I was playing on Darrowshire PvE, I I realized like I did Molten Core and I was like this fucking sucks. I honestly even at the time I'm like this raid is stupid. Like I would literally just
Yeah,
I would put myself on follow or like sleep on Shazra and go do fucking laundry or something mid raid because it was dumb.
yeah.
So I
Well, I
just
remember
I
people
start
constantly like
yeah.
asking for us to be merged with Lightbringer. They
Yeah,
wanted
like
Darrowshire to be merged with
yeah, like
Lightbringer, yeah.
I was like a big proponent of the merge when meme and shit and and yeah, like but all I did on that server on Darrowshire PvE was I PvP'd and I ranked and that was the most fun like PvP experience I've had because it was the same 20 people every battleground. Alterac Valley only happened on
If you're
AV week.
talking in Discord, yeah,
Yeah, Alterac Valley only happened on the weekend that was AV weekend, right? So it wasn't like people
yeah,
spamming AV and Classic or on these bigger servers 24/7 to rank. Like you only got
yeah,
into AV during AV weekend, and it was the same 40 versus 40, and like the same people would go to the same spots. Or like it was always and like dude, there's so much fucking drama. I remember like we fucking
yeah.
oh dude, it was so funny if
Remember
I
we
actually went
graveyard camped them?
yeah like the Lions would turtle the bridge, so I would like this mage Crumble and I would get everyone the hearth, and we'd fucking
Yeah,
organize
crumble, yeah.
like a fucking camp. So the alliance would push back after we hearth away, and then they would fucking push into our base, and then we just wipe them and just start AoEing their fucking graveyard. And I'd be like, no cap, don't cap,
That was
don't
so
cap.
fucking fun.
Crumble's like, no cap, no cap. So we're just in there fucking
Yeah.
AoE grinding them at the fucking graveyard, and they corpse
And they're
run
seething in Discord,
yeah,
yeah.
they're seething in Discord. And they corpse run to the back to the next one, and we just move up and fucking AoE grind them. And one time, one AV, we did this. Literally, all the alliance like AFK'd out of the battleground. It was fucking
Yeah, I
hilarious,
remember that they
man.
started leaving the battleground. I
Yeah,
was literally in that one, yeah, on a Saturday. I literally remember that. But as great as those memories are, we got to get back to the list, which is so Darrowshire, the server represents Elysium, I guess, this time around. So, and I would say the Darrowshire server I played on, because Darrowshire was under Elysium and Light's Hope, so like it was kind of weird. But like,
yeah,
we'll say the Elysium Darrowshire, that's where the server came from. I would honestly call it god tier in terms of scripting. I barely encountered any bugs on it at all. Like there was a
yeah,
couple, but like it was the most polished vanilla server I've ever played on. Like it was just everything worked. There was no bug quest. Like there was all the raids worked perfectly. Like I barely remember any bugs at all. Like and the movement felt literally Blizz like. So I would no, I'd call it god. I'd put it in god tier. That's where I'd put it in terms of
Elysium.
scripting. Yeah, and yeah, I'd put it in god tier.
But the only thing
Yeah.
I would say is, the only thing I would say is like there was like the corruption thing with Elysium, and that's why Light's Hope ended up forming. So,
Yeah,
so do we
that's
want?
not
Do
a
we
that's not that,
like? Are we gonna?
but that doesn't have any representation of
Uh,
scripting. That's like something
yeah,
else.
yeah,
You know?
okay. So I guess I'm
Yeah.
just gonna put these together because, like, even though
Yes,
like
they're basically
they're
the
kind of
same.
like the same thing. Even though I like it was the same server and the staff was different and the Elysium staff was corrupt, but at the end of the day, it was the same server. My character
Yep.
from Elysium, I played on Light's Hope, and it was like the same thing,
Yep.
and so it was
Yep.
just like a more trustworthy
I'll say
staff.
quickly for Lights Up as well. I played on Lightbringer. That server was top notch as well. It was a huge. By the way, Lightbringer was like the most hardcore server. Like that server was unreal. Like Lightbringer was the best server I've ever played on. Point blank. Peak of private servers in my opinion. Everyone says Australius was. I say Lightbringer was, but you know I didn't play on Australia, so who knows. But Lightbringer for me was the number one server I ever played on. Same, it's the exact same like core as like Darrowshire. Same script, same everything. Played flawlessly. So both god tier. What's next?
I agree.
Darrowshire.
Like
That's
Darrowshire,
Darrowshire.
I'll just subjectively say right now, even though we're not there yet, the two most fun experiences I've had playing WoW was Darrowshire PvE and Netherwing 1, even though Netherwing 1 was
Yeah.
fucking crashing for like the first 2 weeks and basically
Yeah, I remember
unplayable.
that. Yeah.
It's still something
Yeah, that
about
was
like that
annoying.
period of playing, like that was like the private server renaissance, but we're not there yet anyway. I just wanted to like throw that out
Yeah.
there as a
Okay,
sub.
so we're gonna go to the next. We're gonna go to Darrowshire again. Now, this is not the same Darrowshire we're talking about. This is a different server from last year. Is that correct?
It's 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure now. It
Okay.
was like, because Everlook was what, 2022, right? And then this one was the
Yeah.
2021 server. It was like, this
Okay.
was, yeah. So the
I didn't
only,
play on this server. I have no idea about this server, so Musk is gonna have to take this server.
honestly, I mean, it was supposed to be like a successor to Elysium and Light's Hope, but just playing the server, and I only played level 20 Hunter, but like just the feel of the server wasn't the same. It seemed a little scuffed almost. So I would honestly just put Darrowshire in the stock mangoes tier. Like I had fun ganking people in Redridge on a 20 Hunter twink for like a couple weeks, but I was already burnt on vanilla. But that doesn't really have anything to do with it. But I just like know even like the people I was playing with were like, yeah, this server like doesn't feel as good as
Yeah.
I don't it
The
doesn't
lights
feel,
hope.
it was like a feel
Yeah.
thing. Like all this is just a feel thing. Like we don't have a fucking like side by side scientific evidence fucking whatever. Like it's just I'm
Yeah.
just going off feel and like what other people who were playing it also were saying and feeling, and it's like it's like it just didn't feel the same. Like there was some scuffness to it. And honestly, I would say Everlook is in the same basket. Like Everlook felt exactly the same as Darrowshire to me. I don't know what you think, Jig, because I think you did play
Yeah.
20 Hunters with us.
I played. I played quite a bit on Everlook actually, camping Red Ridge. I will say like Everlook, I would personally put it in like grade.
You think so?
There was something. It didn't quite feel as good as like Lightbringer and Darrowshire from memory. The movement felt a little bit off, and I noticed that sometimes I would hit like you would hit them and then like the numbers wouldn't come up. Like I
Yeah.
noticed that as well. Like it just felt a little bit more scuffed compared to like Elysium and Darrowshire, as in Darrowshire, Elysium, and like Lights Hope servers, which were just like pristine almost. So I would put it in great. It just didn't feel quite as good, even though I believe they might be using the same core, but it seems like they've tweaked it, but it didn't get tweaked better. So that's kind of the way I felt about it. So I'd put it in grade. That's where I would put it because
Yeah.
it was still pretty good, but like it wasn't quite as good as like the as peak WoW for me. But so next up is like that's the vanilla servers out of the way. Next up is TBC. So I can see the first one. There's Lights Vengeance. So I played on that server. Must didn't play on that server. I'll say this: Lights Vengeance is hands down the worst so-called like Blizz-like server I've ever played on my entire fucking life. That is the most dog shit server. It's unbelievable how bad that server was. The fucking where do you start? Everything just felt super scuffed on it. There was like this weird lag at all times. Um, they fucked the mobs respawning up. There was like 6,000 people in fucking Hellfire Peninsula, and they had every mob on like 5 minute respawns. That was just complete fucking cancer. The dungeons were trash, bro. Like I remember, like like fucking mobs were like swim. Like you would hit a mob and then it would get low HP. And I remember like a couple of them like would just fly up in the air and walk off into like the next tier, like in Blood Furnace. Like they'd literally just go up into the air and then never come back. Um, the bosses would randomly bug out and become like completely unkillable. Just what was it? There was some fucking thing with shaman. There was like a bug with the shaman that I was because I was playing like an enhanced shaman. You couldn't. What's that weapon? What's that lightning weapon thing where you hit him with it on enhance? Basically, whatever it was, I can't remember the name of it, but you couldn't do it when you were behind people, which makes zero sense. Like that's not how it works. We're not playing rogue, so like everything was just fucked up and scuffed as fuck, and the server was trash. Worst server I've ever fucking played on, no question about it. Liquid shit tier, Lights of Vengeance.
I think
Endless fucking bugs.
I think we actually fucking roasted this server on our podcast 3 years ago because that was around the
It,
time when you played.
yeah, and it was that fucking bad. I did a huge write up about it on Reddit, and like actually everyone pretty much agreed that it was dog shit. Um, so that's my opinion on that. Next up, we'll do Sun. Next up is Sunwell TBC. I didn't play on this server, so like Musk is gonna have to. I remember there being lots of people talking about bugs on that server though. Musk, you did play on it, and you actually did a video about it from memory.
Yeah.
You said it was pretty bad,
I remember
pretty
Sunwell. It was
average.
like a Sunwell versus Netherwing one. This was like the Atlantis server, and then Sunwell released their server. It was like the same time in I think 2020 maybe. And I know there was a lot of like fucking just tribal fucking meathead warring going on, and
Yeah, on Reddit,
yeah,
yeah,
on
on
Reddit
WoW
and stuff. You
servers,
know how
yeah.
private servers are, and I remember playing Sunwell and getting to around 25, and the server just felt like dog shit. I remember from like I like this is another one of the servers I only played to level 20. I think it came out in December of that year, maybe 2019 December if I remember correctly. I don't know, but that seems right.
Yeah, I
But
think it came out slightly before Netherwing, didn't
it
it?
was like a month before Netherwing, and when Netherwing
Yeah.
came out, even though Netherwing was like called, it was like Crashwing. It took 2 weeks for the server to actually be fucking playable. It still ended up winning out and kind of killing Sunwell because like the server Netherwing one was scripted very well. It was just the crashing, and then I think they fucking like ported the server and over to Linux, and the fucking Tory guys came and bailed them out. I don't remember the whole fucking. There was like a whole arc. It was hilarious, but
So
like
actually, I did play Sunwell. Now I think about it, I played on it a little bit during Netherwing because Netherwing was crashing like fucking crazy, and I was like, "Fuck this shit! I'm gonna go play Sunwell, like, and see what that's like." And I remember like getting to, like level 22, and I just what I remember about Sunwell is like I remember noticing one of the flight paths was way off. Like the flight creature that you take a flight on kept glitching in and out while we were flying, so that was like a little bit dodgy. Then I remember like the movement of the mobs being like a little bit weird as well. So immediately I would say like for me, Sunwell, off the small amount of the information that I had from actually playing on it, I would put that in like stock mangoes tier. That's
really,
basically what it felt like to me. Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you think?
I was think bad. Like it felt
You think it was
worse.
just
It
bad?
felt worse than
Maybe.
Darrowshire or Chronos. Like it just felt low quality in my
That is
opinion.
true. That is true. Maybe it is bad. Yeah. Could have been
I
bad.
wouldn't. It's not like it's like playable, but I don't. It wasn't a good server. It wasn't even like just a
It
stock. It
wasn't
just
really
felt
that
like
playable.
scuffed.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, you're right.
Netherwing.
Actually, it is a bad server.
So like
But
Netherwing
Netherwing, yeah.
during the first 2 weeks, I'm putting it in liquid shit because it was unplayable. But I think I think Netherwing won, even though it was 1x. That was kind of the thing of the time, and I'm pretty biased towards the server because this, along with Darrowshire PV, was the most fun I've ever had playing WoW. But like personally, for me, just the way they did the changes and all this shit, and the timing of the release, I would put it in a god tier. But objectively speaking, I would probably just put it in as a great server because there was a lot of issues with the server. Um, and this server actually was Blizz like, no cash shop type shit. There was like a donation thing. It was ran pretty much like the Lights Hope project. The first server was. I don't even think they had that 36 slot bag on this server. Like it was a 1x all the way to 70. And
So I played on Netherwing as well. Got to 70 on it as well. I'll say this. So I think TBC servers are a little bit harder to script than like vanilla servers because there's
yeah,
just not that many people that have like done it. So there was that. Netherwing in regard, then I think the server that came before Netherwing was like Hellfire or something. In regards to that, Netherwing was like a tremendous leap forward in
that's
terms
true.
of TBC
That's true. That's
scripting.
a good point. Like
Um, yeah, that so like in that regard, it's the best. It's still today the best TBC server I've ever seen scripted. There's no question about it. However, there were bugs on it. The bugs were noticeable sometimes. I'll say this: when I was running through like Lights Hope, I don't even think I encountered a single bug from like 1 to 60. Maybe one, maybe like a spawn bug or something. But it was barely anything. Like with Netherwing, I would log in like once a day and maybe see like a small bug, in an encounter because the server was fresh. Like this was their first go at it, and a lot of it was re-scripted and stuff. But it was like tiny bugs. Like there were bugs that didn't affect any sort of gameplay. The scripting was actually fantastic. The mobs felt really, really good. The boss fights were as bad as good as I've ever seen in terms of TBC. So it's a hard one. I mean, is it God tier? Is it as good as Elysium and Lights Hope in terms of scripting? Like, no, it isn't. But it's also TBC, which there was a lot less people who had worked on it, so there wasn't as much of a build up as what Lights Hope had. But so I would say it's the best in terms of scripting. It's the best TBC server that's ever existed. No question about it. In terms of all servers combined, it's a little bit below Lights Hope and Elysium, which would make it great. That's where I would put it. So I
Yeah,
guess
I would say
I guess
great.
it's
Because
great.
I will
Yeah.
say this, I know X like the guild XD was playing on Netherwing 1 and 2, and during Netherwing 1 as they were doing their progression, the admins of the server and the developers would literally be in the raid flying around just watching shit just because like it was
Yeah.
like this was like the first time
They're almost beta testing.
they
Yeah.
were like beta testing it live, right? That's kind of how it was because there's a lot of changes, a lot of HP buffs, the mechanics are different, and it was 2.0 mechanics, 2.0 gear, 2.0 stats. Like it was like kind of, I don't know, like I honestly have to get like most servers just did 2.4.3, so I'll give them fucking like, yeah, they really Netherwing. I will give Netherwing the credit of like really stepping forward the
They put
TBC
in a lot
game.
of effort.
And I know
Yeah.
people like are listening to this and be like, "Oh, Gummy's Felmyst." Like Gummy's Felmyst fucking was up for 2 hours and he fucking
Right.
shut it down. Like shut the fuck up. So
Yeah.
like
All
fuck
right. So
Gummy's
like,
Felmyst.
Netherwing one, I think we both agree is like great, but objectively speaking, best TBC server in private server history. Karazhan, which is Netherwing two, was that better or worse to you? Because I did notice on playing the different Netherwings that they did feel different and not always in a good way.
I think here's what I think. Karazhan and Stormforge, Netherwing 3, were both way more refined. A lot of like the scuffness of Netherwing 1 with some of like the boss landings, and there was just some weird behavior on Netherwing 1 that got fixed with Netherwing 2. But on Netherwing 2 and 3, the mob pathing, like if you're tanking and you like step back slightly, the mobs will like run inside your hitbox, run away on an angle, and then like run back. It's just fucking weird and
So it
annoying.
was actually a little bit worse. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's some things about Netherwing 2 and 3 that feel more scuffed, and I don't remember that being a thing on Netherwing 1. So
Right.
honestly, I would
Okay.
just I would just put these as great servers. Like they're all like I still think it's the best
Yeah.
TBC experience.
Uh,
It's just you have to be EU though. Like NA, it's just so like NA on
yeah.
TBC with buffed content is just it's like the attrition is just too much, man. And like the
Yeah.
quality of players on private servers is so
Too
bad.
small.
Like I don't understand that's something that I'll never understand. Like the quality of players on private servers is way worse than it is on Blizzard servers, and I just don't understand why. Like you think people like who are
So,
really good at WoW would be playing private servers, but it's like the opposite. You just have these fucking dumbass just dog shit people that don't speak. They're like fucking drooling. I don't even know, man. Like the player base, the quality of players is so fucking bad. But that's besides. I'm just ranting and rambling
yeah.
again.
So
Either
I
way,
would say the first Netherwings a little bit. I felt like it was a little bit better and more pure than the other two. But
yeah,
the other two had better. But like you said, in some ways they were more refined, and in some ways it felt like they were over refined and made stuff actually less Blizz like. So like it's weird. But on to Felmist one, I never played Felmist. Couldn't give a shit less about it. Musk apparently did for a little
I
bit. What did you
played
think about
to
it?
31 on a paladin. Okay, so there's Felmist 1, right? This is when Gummy he got his
What
fake
year
D.
is this?
This is like
2018?
I don't even remember. This is whenever Alex leaked his fucking password and his server Gummy's server went down after like 11 hours. I have a video like basically when it
Yeah.
happened.
So tell us what you
Um
think about it.
and well, this one was just a fucking joke. Like Gummy will never live it down. Like it's liquid shit because it's playable for 11 hours, right? So
Well,
then
how did the scripting feel? Like,
yeah, I didn't know. I
how
didn't
did
get
it
to play
feel?
it. But then okay, so technically I think he refers to this as Felmist 2. I'm not sure the lore, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I'll refer to Felmist 2 as because after Gummy shut the server down for 11 after 11 hours, a couple weeks later he reopened it actually, but privately. And the guild
Yeah.
Ret, by the way, was basically like maybe like 80 players in total were allowed on the server. I don't even know if it was that many, but there was like one guild, and they played the server for most of T5, I think, before it opened up to the public or started being advertised. And then it started being advertised, and that's when like I started playing a little bit after that. And I know like a guy like Quinn from the Discord played. Quinn made it to 62 as a Shadow Priest. I made it to 31 as a Paladin. And right as T6 was releasing, there was a week. I don't know if I could find the fucking forum post, but a week after T6 released, he shut the fucking server down again. So all these people that leveled on a server 1x and made it to like 62 and put all this time in on T5 just got this shit fucking ripped out of their hands again. And as for the scripting, it felt good, but like I don't know, it wasn't anything like amazing.
Yeah, it wasn't
Like
as
I don't,
groundbreaking as
it
everyone made it
wasn't
out to be.
groundbreaking. Like maybe, and
From
I never
memory, how
did
did
the
you compare it to
raids.
like Netherwing?
I mean, I only leveled to 31, and I remember when I was running up the stairs, it would do like this weird jitter thing. Because the stairs in WoW are like a ramp, but it feels like he tried to make them like actual fucking stairs, and you would get like stuck on them or something. It was fucking. That's the only
So what
bad
would you
thing.
put it then?
I
Where would you
mean,
put it?
I put it great, like script
Okay,
wise, but I mean, he shut it down. Like he shut the fucking server down
sure.
like a week after T6 releases, and he just shut. I don't even know why he shut it down. I don't remember. We'll have to find the post, but maybe
All
if I
right,
find
all
it, I'll
right. Well,
throw it up on the screen here. But if not, whatever.
that's TBC, right? That's the end of TBC. So there we go. I mean, no god tiers for TBC, but like quite a few greats, I guess. Just not quite as refined as what the top tier vanilla servers were. Not surprising, the vanilla servers have had so many years work on them, and TBC
Yeah.
is just not that. People don't like it as much on private servers as vanilla. Like vanilla's that's it. Like that's the game on private servers. And Wrath a little bit as well. But on to Wrath, we haven't played too much Wrath. We did play White Mane, and I gotta tell you this, right? Like people can talk shit about White Mane or whatever. Like, I actually really fucking enjoyed White Mane, like a lot. I thought it
I
was pretty
agree.
fucking fun.
I actually
Yeah,
agree. People shit on White
yeah, I
Mane
thought it
all
was
the
fun as fuck.
time, but I liked it. I liked some of the buff 25 man,
The content was super buffed.
even though
Yeah,
I was a 10 man, like some of the 25 man stuff, like Maexna being buffed was
yeah,
way more fun.
being buffed by like
I
literally
don't care.
300%.
I know there's this Blizz like thing. I'm sorry. I think Blizz like is dead. I think Felmyst 3 that has recently launched has proved Blizz like is dead because
Yeah,
Stormforge still has more people playing and it's not fresh and that's not typical. And yeah,
yeah.
Chinese, whatever, but Stormforge has like there's a lot of Europeans, a lot of NA who are on the server. Like
So,
no like and even look at Everlook and look at what's the other one? Fucking Dareshire. They both only launched with like 2,500 players and they're 1x Blizz like I honestly think I'm sorry to say I know I'm gonna get fucking like people seething their fucking pants off listening to this shit, but like the age, at least for now, the age of 1x, vanilla, TBC,
over.
and Wrath is fucking over. No one wants to fucking level Outlands 1x. If I'm playing Wrath, like I don't like fucking Wrath already. I don't want to level vanilla 1x. I don't want to level TBC 1x, and then I definitely don't want to go through fucking Northrend on 1x.
So the changes on White Mane were really, really good. I liked them a lot. They even had fucking transmog, which was pretty cool. Um, the population was super high. I remember it peaking at like 9k, 10k. The scripting was pretty damn good. I haven't played that many RAF servers, but it was the best scripted RAF server I ever played on. There was a couple of bugs. I remember one bug where you fight the massive big like plague hound in Nax. I can't remember what it's called, like Groth or something. I remember a couple of bugs on him
Gluth.
that they fixed pretty quickly. Glue, they fixed that. They actually shut it down and did like a server restart and fixed it when the first because we were one of the first guilds that went in there. We are like the third guild, I think, and because the Naxxramas was buffed by like 300%, so people were not moving through it at all. Like it was actually relatively hard, as hard as like Raf Nax could be. Um, uh, and there was a couple of bugs with like some of the pool spawn. I think they're like ooze spawns or something like that. And there was a couple of issues with that they fixed in real time. But the actual server was really well scripted. I would put it in great tier. I
Yeah.
would say that it felt great to me. I thought it felt really, really good. It felt like there'd been a lot of work put on it.
And I
I got
know
no complaints about White Man.
Yeah,
I thought it was a fun
one thing
server.
I will say about White Mane as well is, in my opinion, when I was playing there, we were just doing like some scuff 10 mans. We never really stepped foot other than like some Nax 25 man pugs. But once Uldar came out, we were exclusively 10 man. We never had 25 man gear, and we ended up fucking quitting on fucking 10 man Mimron hard mode. But
Yeah, I did all the Nax 25 300% buff stuff when it was like content, and it was tough and it was challenging and it was honestly fun. It was the most fun that Nax has ever felt like to me because I hate that fucking raid, but I still felt like it was pretty fun to do it. But yeah, just a great scripted server. There was some issues here and there. There's a couple of bugs, but really felt pretty complete. Like it felt like it was like 98% complete.
And it felt like
Um,
whenever there was like a problem where like, oh man, I wish this server did X, like a week later they would do it. Like
they
they
would
would
do it.
like
Yeah, they were
it'd be a
very
quality
reactive.
of life change, but when you're playing Wrath, like you don't like Wrath, you don't you just want quality of life. Like
Yep. So Crystal Song was released by Tori, I think in 2020.
I never
I
played.
Musk never played it. I played it. This is the one of the worst servers that I've ever played on. Like the scripting was bad. Like it was like stock mangoes kind of like scripting. Um, but fuck, man, the worst part about that server was the Hungarians on it. Those people were like rats. Like Hungarians. I used to think Hungarians were like pretty cool because they would always tell like the European Union to fuck off. But after playing on like that server. I genuinely wish nothing but the absolute worst for Hungarians. Like, I genuinely hope you guys get fucking bombed and raped into oblivion. Like, I hate you. You people are horrible, bro. They in on Crystals they had like they had the dungeon finder up working on launch, and we would be doing like dungeon spamming, and every single fucking Hungarian player would just spam need on every single item that dropped, because they were like just trying to like make money, and no one had any menas at all. There was no fucking menas on that server. They're all just spamming need on every single fucking thing nonstop. You'd have to sit there booting these people out over and over again. It was the worst experience in terms of community that I've ever had on any private server, period, point blank, no question asked. Hungarians, I hope you people get fucking annihilated, bro. Like, you guys don't deserve to live anymore. Like, I don't, if the world, if I can transfer to the year 2300 and Hungarians are not existing anymore, I would be so fucking happy. I don't even care what happens. It's just as long as you guys and Israel don't exist, I'm good to go. But so Crystal Song was liquid shit. Dog scripting wise, actually put it in bad because scripting wise it was like bad. The community was fucking horrific. Um, horrible fuckers. Now on to Warmane. Warmane to me is like literally just stock mangoes.
Yeah,
like
I would
Warm,
agree.
yeah, like Warmane is a
Warmane's
server
old.
that refuses.
It's
Yes,
old, reliable. That's all there is to say about Warmane.
yeah.
Like it's
There
gonna
is a
be
lot of
there.
bugs on it, and the bugs have been there for like fucking 6 years, and they never get fixed, and people complain about them all the time. To me, in terms of architecture and scripting, Warmane is not impressive in the slightest. It's very extremely unimpressive, especially considering how old it is. Whitemane was a brand new server. It had way better scripting than Warmane. So Warmane's just stock mangoes, whatever. It has a very loyal population that play on that server, and that's really like that. That's Warmane. It's just stock mangoes. It's the definition of like stock mangoes.
I
So
respect.
now
I do
yeah,
respect Warmane for what it is, even though I'll never play there and I don't like it. Like
yeah. I'm not mad about it. It's just it is what it
yeah,
is.
yeah. Like
Like
it's a server that like it needs to exist, and it's like a server that's been there for fucking 10 years, and you still have your character. You can log on. It's like I think of Warmane like League of Legends or fucking CS:GO. Like, oh, I wanted to play some Wrath PvP. Oh, I want to do a Wrath dungeon. I want to do a Wrath raid. You log on to the server that's been there for 10 years. You have your 10 characters, and you just fuck around, right? Like that's Warmane to me.
that's it. Good old Warmane. You don't have to worry about the server ever going down because like it'll always be there. That's how Warmane is. That's
Yeah,
why people like it, I guess. They've had
yeah.
characters there for like 8 years, and they can quit for a year and come back a year later, and it'll be there. Like that's their character will still be there. It's as it's actually more reliable than like I guess Blizzard servers at this point. Like, but so like that's Warmane. Whatever it is, what it is. On to other. So Ascension. I never played Ascension. I hate the idea of Ascension. I have zero interest in it at all. I think Must did. Go ahead.
Here's
What
what
do
I
you
think
think
about
about Ascension?
Ascension. I really liked Ascension, but I think Ascension shows the biggest flaw in like people as well as like I don't know classless game design. It's like it's a very flawed concept because I almost feel like limitations create more variety because with Ascension you're almost unlimited. But when I was playing, like the most Ascension was prior to the wild card thing. I didn't like the wild card. I basically would just go in with like a fucking stupid idea and I'd make like a shadow hunter. I'd make a fucking bald troll monk with a staff. But you're leveling, right? I mean, everyone is either fucking. And this was the time I played. Was Frostcat or they were like some fucking shadow demon warlock with a Felguard. Like I honestly probably think 80% of the people I encountered were those two builds, and then maybe there was a guy with like a two-hand Wind Fury build from like YouTube or fucking like it was basically just 3 builds that people would play because they're too
So
stupid.
it ended up being super
They're
super
like
cookie cutter.
they're too stupid and subhuman and lack like any fucking like soul or fucking creativity or anything to fucking come up with their own shit. So they're just playing on Ascension and playing something that like some creative person with a brain came up with and put on YouTube, and they're like, "Oh, I'll play that," and they'll just play that shit, and it's like so fucking lame. It's like the whole point of Ascension is to like, oh, I have this idea. I want to be like a fucking stupid monk, or I want to be like some shield guy or some. You just think of something stupid and you level and you do it, and then you come up against like, oh, it's another guy with fucking Frostbrand weapon and cat form, like oh, another guy with Frostbrand. That's all it was, and it was so fucking boring and like almost
So like, what was
disheartening.
the what was
It
this
was like
what was
the
the scripting like?
oh, I
Oh, how
mean
did it feel?
it was fine. Like I mean it's a class of server and they had like full loot. There was custom scripts. Like I would put like the execution and stuff. I would put it in the great tier. Like it's not perfect, and I haven't played it in a while, and they've been improving on it, but I would say like Ascension was definitely playing Ascension was one of the things that made me lose faith in humanity. Like it was the core moment for me. Oh,
Okay,
I'm not even kidding. Like I'm not
it's
even
funny.
fucking kidding. Like there's a few core moments, Ascension being one, like the fucking COVID shit being another, that have basically made me like I just see people as fucking I don't even know how to describe it. Like I just don't see people the same way anymore after this shit.
There you
Let's
go.
hear about the other
Ascension.
moments. Hear
Ascension
about these other
was
moments.
Ascension affected him so much that uh, he changed his entire point of view of humanity. So there you have his rundown of Ascension. So on to Total WoW.
I
Okay,
never
so
played.
like, oh, where do we? So where do we end up putting Ascension? Oh, in
I
great.
put in
Okay.
great.
All right. So Total WoW. I played it. You never played it. I leveled it till about 56 or something. Bro, something is seriously wrong with that client because, like, after every 2 hours, my computer would totally lock up and freeze and get like a blue screen of death, like from their fucking client. So, like, that was a first for me. I've never had experienced that before. So that was strike one. Like, that's kind of like a bra moment. Strike two was like the server did have quite a few bugs on it, if I'm being quite honest. It felt very lackluster to me. I wasn't impressed at all. There was a lot of hype about it, and I was sort of like, "This is it. Like, this is your server that you guys have been chilling for this long." Like, and I'll say I played Total WoW before it exploded in popularity. I was playing it when it was having like 1K peaks. Now it has like 10K peaks or something literally insane. But yeah, I can't even comprehend how it has that many people on it. I guess people are like desperate for vanilla or something. But yeah, the server was not good. Like there was lots of bugs on it. There was lots of scripting bugs. Like there was bugs in dungeons. Mobs would move weird. You would have looting bugs. There was lots of times where I couldn't fucking loot something off a mob because it was like bugged. So that was extremely annoying. There was one time where I was trying to loot like the gem out of Sunken Temple off the final dragon boss, and I couldn't fucking loot it. I almost put a hole in the wall, bro, because it was just sitting there, but I couldn't fucking loot the damn gem. And I'm like, really, sunk? You gonna make me run the Sunken Temple again? No way, dude. Like this dungeon blows. So like I didn't like Total WoW at all. I ended up quitting because it was just shitty and I was sick of like blue screening. Um what would I would rate it like stock mangoes, to be honest. And by the way, like the custom dungeons are dog shit. Like I hate to break it to you, but like there's nothing impressive about like taking stockades and putting like new mobs into it. Like I'm sorry, but that's fucking boring and lame. Okay? And you guys are about to see this when Project Epoch comes out because it's gonna blow this fucking server out of the water. Like it's gonna make this server look like Child's Play. It's gonna look like kiddies running. It's gonna make these people look like fucking script kiddies. So yeah, Total WoW. Actually, you know what? Put Total WoW in bad. That's what I actually think of it. I don't think it actually is stock mangoes. It's worse than Warmane and it's worse than Warmane. So I'd put it in bad. It's the scripting on it was crap. It is what it is. So that's my opinion on that. Last server that we're looking at here is Liam Fresh.
Liam Fresh.
This is like
It's like a meme
this is a friend of
throwing.
our server. Yeah.
I mean,
I would.
basically the lore of Liam Fresh is Liam and I, and then eventually like another person, Josh 10 joined in, and we fucking had this idea. I always had this fucking stupid idea of like Baron's Battle Royale. I talk about on fucking stream all the time, back in like 2017, 2018. And then one day we're just like, fuck it, let's get the fucking Broadalina repack or Brotalnia, whatever his fucking name is. And we just sat there till like 5 a.m. At least that's my time. It was like Central Time, 5 a.m. fucking every night, working like 5 hours on just this stupid fucking battle royale mini game with, and it's like we didn't have any scripting. We just fucking like spawned ships in the air with like console commands and fucking did some like SQL editing and DBC editing and changed like chests and chest drops, spawned chests, made like a custom scuffed class and it was like really scuffed. So I mean, script wise, it's shit. But honestly, like that was just like making something and playing it. And honestly, like I think the idea was actually really good. I don't know. You played it some jig. I remember like
Yeah, I
there's
thought it was great. To be honest, I thought it was fun as fuck. You'd basically like parachute out of a zeppelin onto like an instanced area. Like I think there was those islands off the coast of Durotar was one of
yeah,
the
Echo
areas, and then
Islands.
like
There was Hearth Glen.
tonight.
Hearth Glen. There's like a Pirate Cove in Tanaris. We had like fucking 10 maps or something too.
Yeah, there was also that dungeon we used as well in Tanaris. What's it called? With the trolls.
Zul'Farrak.
Yeah, you would parachute out of like a zeppelin into like Zul'Farrak, and you would like basically do like battle royale there. I thought it was fun as fuck. To be totally honest with you, in terms of scripting, it was literally better scripted than Turtle WoW. Like that's the irony of it. I would put it in stock mangoes. Like it was
I
just
mean,
stock.
it literally was stock mangoes.
Yeah,
Like it was
yeah.
it
I mean
was
that's what it
stock
is,
mangoes repack, and then we just like fucked
and it felt good
around
to me.
and like made a game out of it and just had gentlemen's rules. But it was like that was actually, you know what's funny? That was during the time, like this is for me, like I was gonna put like this is like this was during the same time as like Netherwing, I think 1 and 2. Like it was around that era, right? So it was like so like the most fun I've had with WoW was like Liam Fresh, Netherwing 1. I would put Netherwing 2, but it ended badly, so it's soured. And then like this is like golden age of WoW for me, and I've kind of just accepted that I'll never be able to relive that shit again. I mean, maybe I will, but I don't know.
Well, I think
We'll
there's a new
see.
golden age coming, to be honest.
You
But
think so? I
we'll.
think custom WoW is the
I think
future,
there
and I
is.
have
I think
my
custom. I think Vanilla Plus is going to be a different game. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's what I. So that's our list, boys. Like that's what we rank all these servers we played on. Like if you played on some of these servers, give us your opinion on like where you would rank the servers you played on. If you disagree with us or if you agree with us, let us know. Like this is just our opinion. I think we got a pretty good opinion on it. We got a pretty good feel. Like we played on a lot of servers, and I know what's shit and what isn't.
Yeah. It's just like all
I think
feel, right?
that's
Yeah.
that's a none of this stuff is me being over the top, like or him being over the top. Like that's just genuinely how we would rank these servers. Like yeah, I know there's a lot of people that would probably be watching this that would play Turtle WoW. I genuinely just don't think it's a great server. Like I think it's pretty poorly scripted. There's so many bugs I was encountering that it can't be well scripted. If I'm encountering more bugs on Turtle WoW than I'm encountering on a stock Mangoes, and stock Mangoes is the average baseline for a server, then it's below average. That's just the fucking reality of it. So like that's that. That's why I put it below average. Um, but yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah.
This
Thanks
is
for
the
watching.
first Muskin Mates video in a while. Hope you enjoy it. Take care.
Yep. Peace.